Hello? Hello, you guys? Hopefully, my mic and everything audio related is going all good. Also, it's kind of rainy recently, so if there's some rain sounds going on in the background, that explains it. Anyways, welcome to the stream. Hello. Good morning or good evening. Hopefully everyone is chilling. Hopefully everyone having a great time. Let me just fix my table up because it's so messy. But anyways, welcome to the stream. Just gonna be doing some drawing today. I already have a sketch done, so all I need to do is like do some cleanup, color, and do some rendering. Basically, finishing a whole illustration today. I already have a sketch done. will you be drawing today? I'll just be drawing a fan art of Ben 10, specifically an alien, which is this guy over here. Also has quite a basic design to it, so nothing too crazy to do today with the design department. Maybe in the rendering part is where we go crazy. I also kind of strained my hand. Here's the thing. My hand typically doesn't hurt when it's just drawing. But apparently, playing video games is the one that is gonna be making my hand hurt. I just recently found out that it was the reason why my hand was hurting the other day. Mashing the buttons was not... It's just not a healthy thing for me, I guess. Anyways, just give me a few minutes to like hype myself up to bring myself to draw or to start drawing. It takes me a while to start and to get into the zone, I guess. And also have some references on the side, just in case. I'm gonna finish the wild mud? Yeah. Choosing wild mud right now because my hand is still kinda hurting. What specifically is hurting is my thumb and my pinky. So basically this part. Because I just played some video games and apparently that's the number one reason why it's straining my hand. Also, I might be more slower than usual, so it's gonna be a chill stream. I'll take a chill pill. Because again, my hand is kind of strained and all that, so I won't be able to draw 100% here. And not to mention, I'll be doing some cleanup, which further strains up my hand. I don't think it would, since it's just drawing. Man, I'm much more prone to having my hand hurt when playing games instead of fucking drawing. What a plot twist it was. But I think that's on me. I think I played way too long yesterday. I basically played the rest of the night. Or maybe around 5 hours, I think? I can't remember. And probably the reason why my hand is like hurting now. Which game do you play? It was Hades. And I think I mashed my buttons a bit too much. First few runs of the game, I was doing fine. You know, my hand wasn't hurting and all. But after a while, even my performance on playing the game was getting significantly worse because I I was having a hard time pressing the buttons because my hand was cramping up. My fingers were cramping up. Especially my thumb. I just cannot take it anymore. But hopefully doing cleanup won't strain it further. But it probably will. This is why you have to be careful around line art. Sketching is fine. You can try to do it as loosely as you can, which can alleviate the pain at least. But when it comes to line art, you need to be more precise with your pressure, so leave a strain. Because you didn't play a game for a long time? Probably also. But at the same time, it's probably because of me playing for a long ass time. And maybe it's because it's getting cold. I have to wear my drawing glove. I don't really wear this because it's always often hot. But since it's rainy again, I think there's a typhoon again coming up. I have to wear it in order to make it warm. The warmer it is, the better for my hand. Better it is for my hand. Oh, this first way further back here. Did you see that awesome Chainsaw Man animation on Discord? Chainsaw Man fans are crazy. I haven't yet. Because I haven't been opening my Discord lately. Also, it's like... even before the anime existed, I've already been seeing a lot of fan animation for it. But they typically make those in order to like get noticed by whoever is making the anime and get hired by it. Or they're just fans. Cold season is coming up. It's getting colder and colder now. Trying to see a reference. Where? Actually, the line art would be very simple. In fact, I can just work with this. This is actually good enough for me. But I just have to like close some gaps and remove some dust here and there and call it a day. The part where it gets somewhat detailed, I guess, where the details are gonna pop up, is the rendering part. So this phase is not that exciting yet, or this stage of the process. Oh yeah, my hand doesn't hurt anymore. It feels better now. That's so weird, because it's so sudden. But I do feel it's still kind of cramping up sometimes. It really is just because I played video games, doesn't it? Fuck me. Even my body is rejecting on having fun, for fuck's sake. Ben 10 shows do a good job of hiding animation errors. I think a lot of cartoons does that. Especially some specific cartoons. There's so many errors. But it really only happens in like few frames, so it's really not that noticeable unless you pause it. Or you're that obsessed on seeing the frames. It's Hades. Yep, it's Hades' fault. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my fault. Because I am that type of player who just mashes the buttons. At the same time, I can't help it, bro. Game is fun. But it's not very healthy for my hand. That's for sure. It might be also, I feel like I'm so late to the party when it comes to playing Hades. Maybe that's why a part of me is like rushing the game. And just wanna unlock like a lot of shit in just a short span of time. And obviously I'm not. It's been a while since I played video games. And obviously I'm gonna suck. Oh yeah, hopefully the chat is now showing up on the video. Because back then it didn't. Oh, it's so small though. Hold up. Let me make chat a tad bit more bigger. Oh, I think it disappeared. There we go, I think it's back. Hi, you are South Korean? I'm a mixed kid, so... only half. I'm only half. And unfortunately... I wasn't taught to learn Korean. Never heard the term Westerns before. Where are you from? I'm from the Philippines, so... I'm an Asian kid. Which explains the typhoon, the shitty weather, and all of that fiasco. Specifically Southeast. I think Southeast Asia is somewhat built different from other Asians. But we all over the world here. Didn't even bother to draw this. Oh my god. I wish I could learn how to speak and read Hangul or Korean. But I can't. Here's the thing. When learning a new language, it's much better off when it's being used. But I got nowhere to use it if I'm trying to learn it. Because nobody speaks that here. Unless you're in a Korean town. Because we also got those kind of towns. You know, Chinatown, Korean town. And all that shebang. I just use Google Translate in order to like read stuff. I do feel low-key disappointed with myself sometimes too. Well, I'm like, I wish I know how to talk to speak in a certain language, especially if it's a language that I suppose or I'm supposed to know. And I'm barely good on talking in Tagalog. I can speak it, I can talk to other people with my native language, but at the same time, I'm not very good at it. In fact, most people here talk in like a mix of Tagalog and or Filipino, a mix of Filipino and English. Like if we can't remember the word for it, we either say it in our language or in the English language. In fact, when it comes to like I guess in the education department or when it comes to paperworks in general, we use the English language. We don't use our native language. Because I think in other countries, yeah, you use your native language basically for everything. Everything. But here not. But feel free to correct me. Your English is great. I'd say you were from the US. I just never had that Filipino accent, I guess. Because I feel like that accent is too hard for me. How do I say this? Basically, my accent is kind of like lazy as fuck. So I don't use like how a typical non-American would speak it, I guess. Or non-English speaker would say it. And I also just use imitation a lot. You know, when you watch movies and shit, all of that stuff. I used to imitate it as a kid, so it just kind of happened. It just happened and developed in a certain way. But nobody talks in English here. Nobody talks in English here. I only learned from watching movies, watching anything, especially cartoons. In fact, most of my relatives here are pretty terrible in talking in English. But English for the most part is like our second language here. Or in our country. But nah, I learned how to speak in English, how to talk in English because of cartoons. And I think it's the same thing that happened to my sister. We didn't we didn't teach her. Nobody taught her how to speak in English. But since she used to like watch Coco Melon and all that shit, you got to you got to learn. She was able to learn it because of it. My brother wasn't able to. That's interesting, yes. I'm from Italy and we use Italian for everything. I want to say most people know English, but we just study it in schools and then it's up to you. It's up to you whether you stick to it or not. But yeah, I didn't learn English from school. I learned it from watching fucking cartoons and watching Tom and Jerry. And you know, as a kid, you pretty much copy and imitate whatever you just saw interesting. And that's what pretty much happened to me. But it didn't even do great in our English subject, you know, at school. I didn't do well. But I didn't do terrible either. I think there was one topic in English that I was the only one who was able to get the highest score from it, which surprised a lot of them. But that was back in elementary. And me just applying what I learned not from school, but from fucking cartoons. But yeah. Because in schools, they don't teach you how to speak something, especially if it's a certain language. I don't think they teach you well on speaking onto something. Most of them typically expects you to already be good at it. But I wasn't able to reach that. I think a friend of mine is studying Spanish now instead of English. I actually do not. I'm not sure if they're still studying English because the English subject here is so fucking repetitive. You study it since elementary, and then it's still on college for some reason, despite the topic being discussed is already done with back at high school. And it's just repeating itself. So college becomes a waste of fucking time because of that. But nobody bats a fucking eye about it. But anyways, I can't stop imagining you learn English from Benton or Teen Titans. A lot, I think for the majority of it, I think I learned the most from a lot of cartoons, basically out of Cartoon Network. And it's not like I understand whatever the fuck they're saying all the time when I was a kid. And I was really young too. And I got exposed to it. Or exposed to cartoons. But yeah, for the most part, it's just a bunch of cartoons where I get to fucking learn. After television kind of died, Loki died, and internet was kind of like booming. I think that's where I was able to like, what do you call this? Polish on learning it, because everyone fucking talks in English in YouTube, so or mostly everyone. I guess that's where I get to polish after cartoons. And you know, back then, as a kid, when you play with your toys, you talk to yourself. This sounds weird, but that's pretty common if you're a fucking child. And anytime I play, I talk in English. Never in my native language, for some reason. Because it doesn't sound good, I think. Maybe as a kid, that's like my mentality. So I talk to myself, or when I play with figurines and shit. I use the English language, and I guess that's how I was able to like basically learn it overall. But now, now that I grown up, kind of having a hard time here, especially, or maybe it's just because it's Korean or Hangul. It has a different writing system, so maybe that's why it's kind of like much more doubled when it comes to difficulties. Because our language and the English language, there's only like a minuscule difference when it comes to its alphabet or writing system. Like deadass only one letter, I think, is the only difference. That's why it's only all you need to learn is like how to talk or how to speak the language. Don't really need to learn all that much. Unless your alphabet is way different, of course. I still wonder how Nickelodeon is still alive despite TV dying and they don't have a streaming service. It's because of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is still a moneymaker for them. And again, because of toys and all that. Toys is what actually keeps them alive. And other stuff. Usually commercial. Anything that sells, honestly. But yeah, as a kid, I grew up on like Cartoon Network. Never really on Nickelodeon. This is why I cannot relate to people who are like big fan of SpongeBob saying, "Oh, SpongeBob isn't the same anymore." Yada yada yada. I haven't fucking watched a SpongeBob episode in fucking years, and I don't think I've watched plenty of SpongeBob episodes. I think I've only watched one or two or something. That's why I cannot relate to Nickelodeon fans. And that I couldn't relate. I think there's this creator Butch Hartman who keeps bragging shit like, "Oh, I made Danny Phantom. I made your childhood." I'm like, "Bruh, Nickelodeon wasn't even in RTB. I cannot relate, bro. We only have like Disney and Cartoon Network, and that's it. Nickelodeon is like somewhat. It appears sometimes, but then again, it just disappears. It's never permanent in RTB for some reason. So I was never a Nickelodeon kid. Although I'm quite aware of like some shows there and some of the shit they put out there, but that's more of me finding out as I grew up instead of when I was a kid. So you're saying the SpongeBob memes is keeping Nickelodeon alive? That wouldn't be that wouldn't be surprising. I remember when people complain about modern SpongeBob. I went to the recent episode at the time and saw Squidward getting beaten up all the time. I was like, yeah, I understand. Oh, and the poop jokes. The repetitive kind of jokes, I guess. But then again, I didn't really got into SpongeBob. But I do love the memes. And I think I think I've only watched the movies instead of the show. It sounds blasphemous, I know. But I never grew up in Nickelodeon, so not really that surprising. I think this cleanup is basically done. And there's no point to me adding more details, honestly. Let's just fill this up already. Actually, no. There's so many gaps. Hold up. I'm gonna make sure gaps isn't too big or whatever. Or too much. So I don't have any problems when filling this up. But yeah, I think that's one of the recent complaints about it, about SpongeBob. It's because it's just not as funny anymore, I think. But then again, I really could not judge because I haven't really grown up with the show. Where I am complaining though is Tom and Jerry. They could not replicate the same feeling of what the good old OG Tom and Jerry was able to brought out. And Tom and Jerry is just I guess where I'm more nostalgic to because I think I watched it as an infant till the day I fucking grow up. So that's why I'm pretty much biased to it. And completely hate the modern one. The modern versions. Because the animation is so shit. I just need to block this, you know, flat colors. I'm only gonna use this temporarily. Basically. Oh, my shit is lagging. I will always root for Tom instead of Jerry. Jerry's an ass. The one time that Tom won was when me and my brother just cheered. Oh yeah. I'm also one of those who much prefer Tom compared to Jerry. I do like Jerry's cousin though. It was badass. But for the most part, Jerry was an ass. Let's make those lines thick and smooth it and out. Because I know it's kind of jagged to some areas, like this one. You won't notice it. Like, if it's like this, you will not notice it. Unless you get a good eye or something. Oh yeah, I've been thinking of making a Hades fan art, but I have so many fucking work in progress sketches that I have not finished. I think it was much more better to finish a few pieces before I start one. Because it's getting out of hand. Anyways, cleanup is basically done. We're gonna be proceeding to color. But anyways, let me take a quick bathroom break. BRB. Well, I'm back. Have you finished Hades or still playing it? I just started playing it. Because I just recently bought it. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. And I couldn't play that much, or couldn't play every day, unfortunately. As much as I would like to. This is a thing all the time. I always have conflict with the time. I always set those layers up. Oh wait. I'm gonna clean this. There's this gaps forming because of the line art. I don't necessarily have to do this, but to select things much more easier, I just do that. And so it's much more easier for my eyes. But anyways, base colors. And look for some reference. I just have Google on the side here. I'm also kind of like a slow player too. I ended up farming instead of like trying to reach the end of the fucking game. I did my priorities are kind of skewed. And also just bad RNG. Never, not really the best when it comes to relying on luck only. I mean, it's not very reliable to luck, but it does make a difference. I can use the lasso here for, you know, much more quicker and all that. It only has like a few colors too. So base colors, we're not gonna do anything crazy. Let's be honest. The dude only has like, what, 2 colors on his color palette. Just orange, and I think the rest is kind of like just black and all that. But don't everyone always farm? Yeah, I keep getting obsessed with like farming instead. Because a part of me also wants to have like some sort of, what do you call this? At least reach the end of it. Because I think the more you upgrade stuff, the more difficult it gets. Or somewhat difficult it gets. Of course, that doesn't always happen to everyone. It's... Yeah, we're not gonna do that much of the coloring here. It's Literally just a few colors needed. Some grays, black, white, and of course the orange. And that's basically it. We can pop off to the rendering part. That's where it gets crazy. Or that's where we can go crazy. And go hard with. But for now, we're not gonna do it that much. It is just the base colors also. I guess I have this sort of speedrunning tendencies, I guess. I'm not a speedrunner. In fact, I'm fucking terrible at it. But I always have that sort of tendency. To just fucking rush the game. Or feel compelled to do the same things that speedrunners do. Which often leads to not very good results. I lost my reference for that. Okay, we're back. I haven't really played video games as much as I used to, but one game I did enjoy was Nier Automata. That was like, that's the game that everyone loves and praise. And honestly, that's pretty understandable. I don't think my computer can run it though, which is unfortunate. And I think I have enough existential dread on my system. And there we go, base colors are done. It's that quick and easy. Well, for Wildlife, that is. Let me just fix the gaps here. I think that's a thing when using the lasso tool. For some reason, it just does that. Or leaves some gaps here and there. Orange kind of looking way too dull. Hold up. Haven't played Super Smash or DMC4 in a long time. Still didn't play in DMC5. I think I used to play Smash Bros back then. But I'm using the 3DS, right? And the 3DS controller is never the most pleasing thing to hold in your hand. Hold up, let me take a break here. Let me take a breather. And honestly, I'm just happy that I finally get to hold a fucking PlayStation controller once again. Super Smash and 3DS is terrible. Yeah, exactly. Still playable. It is possible, but my god, you're much more better off playing with some sort of controller or something else. Because 3DS controllers ain't it, bro. I was low-key worried the controller might not work on my PC because I'm a fucking caveman when it comes to this sort of stuff. And I'm assuming Xbox controllers are like the only ones that work. But I hate the design of Xbox controllers. I just do not like how asymmetrical it looks. And it was just too chunky for me. Switch controls is much better. Yeah. Except for the drifty thingy that has been going on. I think it's still happening. In Joy-Con drift, I think. Is that how they call it? And that shit is like a fucking nightmare to me. I already get annoyed by vibrations because it kind of affect how I move my joystick or somewhat affects it in some way. And the drift is just a fucking nightmare to deal with. And probably the reason why nobody owns a Nintendo console here. But Nintendo is the only... I think it's the only console at the moment that is like mobile, right? But even a fucking mobile phone dedicated for gaming or just basically high spec is much more better than a fucking Nintendo Switch. I think also Steam Deck is a handheld console at the market right now, but I don't think I've seen one here. Those those sort of stuff is really fucking uncommon here. That's why I always feel like a fucking caveman seeing them in real life. I've only played the Switch like 3 times, playing Mario Kart. I think those are like the starter pack when it comes to playing the Switch. Especially back then where it's like Animal Crossing. I'm not sure if Animal Crossing is still alive right now. But back then it was like the hottest shit, right? And it was so tempting to buy a Nintendo Switch just for that because everyone was fucking playing it. But then now I think it's pretty much dead. Only use the Switch to play Mario, Smash Ultimate, and Pokemon Diamond Remake. Pokemon Diamond Remake is a mistake. Bro, you could have been much more better off playing Pokemon Platinum. The remakes are so shit. I think they spent all of their budget more on like Arceus. I think you're much more better off playing that one uh instead of the remake because it was just terrible. It's literally just copy pasted. I think even the bugs, if that is also present on like the old versions, is also present on the newer ones. People are trying will probably defend it for like, oh, but it's a different studio. Give them a break. I'm like, bro, you're a fucking multi-million franchise. I think even some or other gaming studio or company does it much more better than Game Freak, the actual, studio that made this shit. I forgot what company it was, but I think they made Tekken, which is, I think they also made. Actually, I can't remember the other one. I'm actually not sure. But I think they made Tekken, so they're pretty much know how the game or how video games are made. Pretty much. So I think it was Pokemon Snap. And I think that is a much more fucking better game than the main ones, especially the new ones that's coming out. I think it's getting better. The main games are getting better now, but it's such a minuscule improvement, I think. That's what I said about Pokemon Platinum. Best Pokemon game ever. It's pretty much known for like uh one of the best main games that you can play. It's kind of like the Emerald, but I think it's Gen 4. But it is known Platinum is known for like basically perfect as a Pokemon game. Although I still do not like the grindedness of it. Especially the last section of it. But overall, still the best one. Best version. I had the Wii for a long time ago and would always play Mario Kart, Super Mario Bros., and Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Everything from the Gen 4 remake was literally reused. The game code was reused, even the mistranslated and grammar errors that Platinum picks again. Yeah, they could have just, made a remake of Platinum instead of the two versions of it, which is, yeah, which has the bugs and errors and all that. As with every games after Gen 6, all the Pokemon 3D models are reused again. Yeah, it's pretty much recycled, reused, and all that. And they barely bothered on that section. Tekken is pretty fun. I can't wait for Tekken 8. Oh yeah, Tekken is it's like the fucking hottest shit right now. Especially with all of the cinematic shot. I think it's a gameplay, but at the same time it feels cinematic as shit, which is fucking rad. I haven't played Tekken anymore, unfortunately. Because I have no idea where to play it. And it's not it's not the genre of game that I play anymore. Back then as a kid, yeah, I loved that type of game. That type of genre. Especially the one that is like I couldn't remember this fighting game in general, but it's an old fucking game in the PlayStation 2 where you basically can transform into fucking animals as a way to power up, I guess. It's kind of like our bootleg version of Tekken because Tekken wasn't there for some reason. And remember, it was like, we don't really own consoles. We only can play in a sort of arcade way, I guess. You know, you put coins in it, and then you can play for a few minutes. And it's not even like a legitimate way to play, because most of it are homebrewed and just pirated. But that's the thing about living in the province. All the glitches in Diamond and Pearl was in the remakes. But even worse, the point where you can even win without playing the game by using the glitch on the Switch, which wasn't possible in the DS games. I think I saw this. I think I saw a video of this. But yeah, a lot of players was basically breaking the game. Not really breaking the game. It's part of the game. Let's be honest here. I couldn't remember anymore because it was a while ago. Do I like the memes though? That's for sure. I know they released a Tekken anime. The show isn't bad. It probably isn't as bad as people has talked about it. The reason why people are shitting on it is because first impressions of it, they just do not like 3D in anime at all. Because when it comes to anime fans, once they heard the use of CGI in 3D, they immediately would talk shit about it. Despite not seeing a single scene of it, because they already know it's gonna be shit. And it's probably a number one factor on why people turns away to the show or wouldn't even bother watching it. I really do not mind it. I really don't mind the use of 3D in anime or animation in general. I just want it to look good. But I didn't watch it because mainly I just didn't like the visuals of it, that's all. I couldn't find anything impressive. And I wasn't even super into the lore of like Tekken that much. Just play the game. You're much more better off playing the game. Don't understand the logic of the game coding glitches that switches from different game consoles, creating a new broken glitch, but that happened and created a new speedrun. The CGI probably isn't as bad as X-Arm. Oh, that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. That's why people said about the King Ashura anime when they saw CGI announcement trailer. And the anime was pretty good. I mean, I guess it's because of we always or we just saw way too much anime that uses 3D and ends up terrible. It happens way too often or way too much for us, to the point that we just generally have this instinct or ingrained to our brains that oh yeah, it's gonna be terrible. And assume the worst for it. Because of those multiple occurrences, we just imagine the worst for it. Or we just assume the worst. That, oh yeah, it's gonna be terrible. Oh my god. Why did they choose this? Yeah. So on and so on. But then, if you just break that barrier, if you just, take a tad bit of grain of the salt or something like that, and just watch it, make yourself go watch it, you will be surprised that it's not too terrible. It's uncomfortable, that's for sure. It's not what you're used to, definitely. But for the most part, it's just as basic as it gets. And if we're just talking about Japan and them using 3D for animation, they are kind of late to the game compared to like you know, if we compare it to the big boys who are like or pretty much a pioneer when it comes to using 3D animation. And 3D animation is considered like the norm when it comes to Western, or I guess typically America, because actually other Western countries still much prefer or still uses 2D. But Japan is definitely certainly somewhat late to that party. But at the same time, I don't blame them. Equipment, standards, requirements, and all that thing and process when it comes to CGI and 3D is no fucking joke. Equipment is much more expensive. Process probably takes up more time. People are saying, oh, it takes up less time when you're using 3D animation. That's not really a big margin. That's really not a big margin of like reducing the time. It does reduce some work. It does reduce some sort of labor here and there, but it still needs work. You still need to animate the fucking figure, which is still the most time demanding fucking job. And yeah, just equipment in general when it comes to making 3D stuff is no fucking joke. It's much more expensive. Because if we're just going with like the traditional quote unquote route when it comes to anime or 2D anime, all you need is a paper, a fucking scanner, pencils, and all that. And the rest of the departments can do their own thing. You know? Positing and all that. I'm definitely taking my time here. Comes to shading. And that's fine. Let my hands recover. Bleach anime is pretty good so far, but episode 1 and 3 is speedrunning. 1 went through 5 chapters. Episode 3 went through 6. Episode 2 only went through 2 chapters, weirdly enough. I think they want to jump to the new content that was cut from the manga. I really have no idea on what is the process or what is the decision here on the new Bleach anime. I haven't seen the new episodes though. I've only seen episode 1, and I can definitely tell they are speed running the shit. I didn't even read the manga, but I can tell the pacing was so fucking quick. Like, this happens, and this happens. Character introduction, all done. Now these guys are now introduced. You're basically getting force fed by this fuck ton of information, basically. And this is why if you're new to Bleach, I wouldn't recommend this. I would definitely not recommend starting with this. If you have zero clue on what Bleach is, yeah, this isn't the place to go. Chainsaw Man episode later, let's go! Oh yeah, I should also catch up to that. But I think a part of me is only waiting for... Man, I might end up watching Chainsaw Man a similar way or in a similar fashion on how I watch Jujutsu Kaisen. Here's the thing. The way I watched Jujutsu Kaisen is cancerous as fuck. I literally only watch every scene of Maki is present. I do not watch the whole episode. I only watched the scenes where Maki is only present or Maki is present. Those are the only scenes that I watch. I mean, yeah, I've watched other fight scenes like that. But for the most part, all I care about is Maki and probably Toji. Maybe Sukuna when it's like, I don't know, doing something at least. Sometimes. Or anything funny is going on. And I think Chainsaw Man might share the same fate to that one. I'm literally a lazy ass fucking watcher, so. Do I understand the story? Kind of. I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen is like... Or is that complicated? So it wasn't really that hard for me to follow. Should solidly block this. Instead of making it so detailed, it's not worth it. You have time to watch Edge Runners this week? I'm avoiding a lot of spoilers. Bro, you can watch it on like on your own board. Because I might be just playing video games instead. I'm probably just be doing some work. And also I'm also the type of bitch that just watch the spoilers. It sounds blasphemous, I know. I'm surprised that you didn't like Nanami, cause he does kind of remind me of you. Who's Nanami again? See, I can't even remember the fucking names. Is that the guy with the glasses? Oh yeah, the guy that everyone is thirsting about. I mean, yeah, I relate to the dude. And yeah, we all can relate to him. But I relate more to Maki. Maybe that's why. But yeah, I also like Nanami actually. And the rest is just maybe maybe because he's I guess spoilers warning. I guess it's because he's he dropped dead, I think. On the what arc was that? Was it Shibuya arc? But yeah, I also try to get updated with the story, but only briefly. Not really the in-depth way, or the way it's supposed to be read. I even speedrun my fucking consumption to media. I mean, Maki is a Giga-chan, especially in the manga. Oh yeah, that's why I'm like betting all of my shit to her. It's so weird, but I think this goes for most animes that I've watched. I never like the main character, obviously. And I tend to enjoy the side characters much more. And would much prefer to watch them instead of a fucking main character. And Maki uh is that sort of thing. It's kind of like a anti-hero thing. You know, not a complete good guy, but not exactly a total bad guy either. Especially when I compare his jujutsu to your art and his present for business work like you did. Watching Edge Runner with you was actually the first time I watched anime with another first. Man, I couldn't remember the last time I watched an anime with my homies or a friend. Or most often, we don't really watch anime. I think we ended up watching a K-drama instead together. And it's weird. I guess it's because we're not totally super into anime anymore. And we just watch anime that is convenient to watch. You know, for example, there's a YouTube channel that is like uh premiering a few anime here and there, and it's much more easier to watch there because it's YouTube. You just go there. And we don't really invite each other. We just watch it, maybe speed run it, skip and all that. And probably the reason why I don't watch that much stuff with other people. I tend to skip. It's either I skip or speed it up. But I don't typically do that to every show. If it's a show that I like the visuals very much, then I wouldn't skip. I wouldn't skip nor speed run the fucking shit. But I also would probably will be screenshotting a lot for reference, obviously. Looking at it with the perspective of like as an artist, so yeah. Maybe that's why. And tend to be like, oh, pause. Oh, and we also, my friends and I are like, keep getting distracted when we watch something. To the point that we barely got anything done. Anyways, let me make this more darker. Doesn't look dark. I expect it to be. It's also not looking that saturated for or too light. Maybe that's just me. Yeah, this is why you should get a color accurate screen. Because fuck me. I think that's for it. That's for shadows. Not for shadows. Okay, let me quick fixes actually. Yeah, I might be doing much more readjustments later for this one because I cannot see or I'm not sure if the colors are looking right or not. So I have to do multiple checks for it. Fixes. Oh yeah, I'm also not planning my colors anymore because it's a fan art. There's really nothing to plan here because the colors are pretty much given. Given and oh, there's no need to plan about it. I only plan my colors if it's like, if it's an original character, an OC or whatever. And then I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure or 100% sure on how the illustration would look like. And I want to avoid wasting time. That's where I get to plan colors first. But if it's a fan art, I not really. There's no need to plan, especially if you're just basing off the original design. Now that I think about it, Wild Mutt is just literally a fucking alien dog. Compared to like fucking other aliens that are much more OP. It doesn't even have eyes. Well, yeah, it's on the it's in the name. Oh yeah, Ben is the one naming the aliens. Kinda. Ben is Ben is basically the one naming the alien. I think it's pretty obvious because he just deadass named four arms. Now I think it's looking way too saturated. Oh, by the way, my room is like fucking dark, so I have to turn on my lamp over here. So, yeah, this doubles the accuracy when it comes to colors. God damn. I think that's the thing when it comes to coloring. I think I've heard of this from a studio, but basically their office is so fucking dark. So in that way they can see the colors much more better or in a much more accurate sense. But that's the thing. Your surroundings can basically make a difference on how you perceive color, which is it does make sense. Yeah. I think Wild Mutts is through the gills on the neck. Yeah, that's how he that's how he senses shit. That's how he tracks shit. I'm just gonna go back and forth with the shading and all. Maybe putting some highlights in there too. But for the most part, the basic colors and flat colors and shadings is done. The next thing or the next steps are just basically rendering and making this shit much more detailed. Man, it's probably because it's orange. I swear to God, I feel like I'm blind all the time when I see orange. Anyways. Orange is probably one of the most annoying color for me. Annoying color to work with. But I do like brown, which is a derivative or derived from. That's terrible. Green, I know how to work with green, but orange, that much. And this might be a short stream, because there's not a lot to work with. Wild mud, let's be honest here. Just a fucking orange dog. But I'm gonna do my typical steps to illustrating. Man, I do not know how to explain this step. But basically, it's kind of like block. You paint this section of the body parts, kind of like muscles and all. And then I'll be erasing it later. It looks terrible. Like the process, this is why I probably avoid because 90% of the time when painting, in the process of it, in the middle of the process of it, it looks terrible. For example, right now, it looks terrible. And of course, it's obvious. It's not the final look. It's not gonna be the final appearance, final look of the illustration. But at the same time, if you're a beginner, doing this sort of process feels terrible. Because one, you pretty much don't know where the fuck this is heading to. Like if I show this myself back then, before I was doing this sort of, I would barely know a single about it. Like where the fuck is this going? And if I tell to myself that I'm just gonna erase it despite fucking spending a hot fucking minute, the time and that. You'll probably think, what was the what was the point doing all of this and then just to erase? Honestly, that's just it. I guess this is also my lazy way of doing it, because I think other artists would rather do, go straight ahead with the airbrush and use the selection tool and use other multiple fucking brushes that has like an assorted amount of brush textures, assets, and all of that. But to me, I just basically just block everything. Just block it all out. Building blocks, sections, parts. And once you're done, fucking erase it with an airbrush. But yeah, this is my lazy way of rendering. Others would much rather go straight ahead with the selection tool, other brushes, or with an airbrush. But this is my lazy. This is ocean. This is ocean law. They also do this. Basically, their way of doing it is much more fancier. They use blending tools, they use airbrush, they use specific kinds of brushes that has, specific kinds of or different sorts of textures with them. Me, I just fucking lasso it, bro. Just fucking lasso it. And use the fucking airbrush to like make it look like it's blended. And that's it, you're good to go. I'm not sure if there's any other artist that does this same method as I do. I don't think anyone does this. But this is how I do it. And I think this is one of the things I actually figured out for myself. There's probably another artist that does this, but not sure who. And even if there is one that does this sort of method. But that's how I do it. This is all temporary, so. But yeah, it's kind of uncomfortable to look at. It's very not pleasant. Because a part of me back then, when I'm drawing or whatever, I always want to see the results. Or I want to make sure I can see the results. Or where the fuck the drawing is headed towards. Because if I can't, then I just feel terrible. This is why I could not get into like whatever or what everyone was coding. Like, enjoy the process, enjoy the process. It's not about like the final product. I'm like, bitch, no. I'm here for the final product. But that's just me. It's definitely not somewhat a healthy way of seeing things, I guess. But that's where I see enjoyment, so. I mean, there are some processes that I find fun and considered fun to do. But for the most part, I much prefer seeing the results already instead of like gaslighting myself that the process is worth it, or that I should enjoy the process. I don't think you're obligated to enjoy a process, but overall, it's much more preferred to enjoy it instead of hating it. Because if you hate it, then you'll just feel much more not motivated to continue. Just understandable. But enjoying is never really a permanent feeling, is it? It really depends on your mood. See, and now that is done, just basically airbrush. It adds layer to it. Not but others would probably think, why? What was the reason? And I think the difference is so subtle, but that's fine. And at this point, I'm just glad that I'm investing more time because back then I would just line art, base colors, call it a day. That's done. I put zero thoughts on the coloring. Anyways, let me stretch out. Let me procrastinate. And get distracted for a bit. So I don't strain myself too much. I don't really stretch in the middle of the process, but since my hands are hurting, I think it's a necessary step for me to take. Necessary for me, because it is hurting. Anyways, I'm gonna go back to the highlights. Doing more yellow. I'll erase that later. It's too intense right. And basically, I just want to put in a little bit of shine. Despite he's not really supposed to be shiny, but For the aesthetic, just go with it. And there you go. It helps layer. Layer. I guess texture. Free. Wonder if every time 3 p.m. hits, I just feel sleepy. It's so weird. No matter how complete or how good I slept, anytime 3 p.m. hits, I just get real. This is from Ben 10, right? Yep, it's Wild Mud. The alien doggo. 2 hours already passed. Change! Oh, it's almost 2 hours. Damn. Yeah, I'm taking my time here. Cause, Cause it's like sleepy hours right now. Or maybe I just need a soda. The good old Coca-Cola time. Yeah, it's very obvious I'm addicted at this point. In this stream, every time I stream, it's always a guarantee that I might have drank some Coca-Cola. Or will drink Coca-Cola. My favorites were always Accelerate and Heat Blast. Heat Blast, let's fucking go. Heat Blast was also my favorite. And again, I will still not believe Ben's favorite alien is fucking Forearms. Bro, what the fuck does Forearms do? And I'm sorry, Forearms fans, but Forearms is just mid. Now that I think about it, I don't think I've seen Accelerate all that much in like the newer, Ben 10, right? He probably appeared, but at the same time I don't. Okay, I think I should be doing some more multiply layers, of course. But yeah, during the rendering section, I just spam the whole thing with multiply layers. And basically, multiply layers are just a much darker color layer thingy. Layer settings. Nothing too fancy. Forearms was the only one who survived every series. Yeah, because Forearms, for some reason, has way too much favoritism. Him and the Diamond one. Diamond Head, I can understand. Diamond Head was like, come on, he's much more cooler. And I guess their designs are much more iconic. But I like Heat Blast more. Heat Blast design is just, it's simple, but it's so good. And it just looks cool. Diamond Head and Heat Blast is way cooler than Forearms or the dinosaur that gets used all the time when bent. I think Stinkfly and Ripjaws also appeared in the Ben 10s. Oh yeah, they're also fucking good. I mean, as a kid, I still think their designs are somewhat creepy. Or basically, the designs were just too much for me as a kid. I wasn't scared to it, but I think I was kind of grossed out. But come on, it's Stinkfly and Ripjaws. And now, yeah, I like their designs much more better. Forearms is in the kids one as well. Oh yeah, the very very new, the newest reboot of Ben 10. I still don't like that art style. Am I the only one? It's kind of like a bootleg Family Guy art style. And I hate it. And it also kind of looks like a, you know, those Flash games, you know, games on the website that you probably played as a fucking kid. Like especially on Y8 and all that shit. All that shit. The art style reminds me of that. It feels so cheap. I cannot. I mean, I get it. They're appealing to a more fucking toddler audience, but Jesus. Just thinking if I should add the layers already. The droplet. Like a Family Guy joke, making fun of turning every show. Like, I'm not a fan of the new art style, but it's a new Cartoon Network instead. Titans. It doesn't even look similar to Teen Titans Go. Teen Titans Go's aesthetic and or style, it's okay. I I find it much more better, or actually good, because it kind of looks polished. But the Ben 10 one, it feels cheap. It doesn't even feel like a fucking art style. It just feels like a fucking Family Guy ripoff. And overall, the style is just, yeah, it's just way too ugly for me. But hey, that's the new Cartoon Network for you. Or is it even alive at this point? People at this point probably acknowledge Cartoon Network as dead at this point. I think it's because, are they owned by Warner Brothers? I can't remember. I don't. I'm not very known. Not. I'm not familiar with the meta. Not familiar with the meta when it comes to animation studios. Oh yeah, it's owned by Warner Brothers. So basically, if you guys haven't heard, Warner Brothers basically acts most or basically every animation project they have, like, Deadass fucking killed it. Cancelled fucking everything despite it's already done, polished and all that, and all it needs is to be published. But for some reason they canceled the shit out of it. And now they're going broke. And it's probably the reason why you don't see that much cartoons or animated shows all too much. And I think Warner Brothers is also losing billions, I think. I'm not sure if that's the reason for it. It's probably was the reason for it, let's be honest here. And the only thing that is alive on Cartoon Network, I think it's Teen Titans Go. That's left alive there. I feel like every background character in the new CN shows look the same. Like they all look out of place and look like a Steven Universe. I think it's because they just do not give a shit anymore when it comes to the art style. Compared to back then, where uh you know, their style is there's actually some sort of consistency to it. But yeah. I think television is dead, to be honest. Pretty much, yeah. And streaming services are like the ones that took over. I still do not like I still don't like that sort of direction. Streaming services. Like I much prefer to find everything all in one place, or at least most all in one place instead of jumping around. Because I feel like that's so fucking annoying. Let me add the shadows because it really looks flat right now. I found an example. I will post it on Discord. Hold on, let me open my Discord. Oh, it's the new Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, those are like one of the worst. But yeah, most of them are just appealing for toddlers. Oh shit. Almost accidentally closed everything. When I was a toddler, we had Tom and Jerry kind of shows. I mean, same. I dead ass when I was like a fucking infant. Tom and Jerry is like the first cartoon that I've watched. And I didn't even realize that it's a violent show. And I've only realized that, oh, it is the same. Because back then, as a kid, beating each other is not the same, or it's not equal to being violent. Because for some reason, as a kid back then, what I distinguish or what I think is violence is much more gory, you know, much more scarier and much more fucking terrifying. But beating the shit out of each other, like Tom and Jerry, no, that's not violence. And that's my logic as a kid. And also, OG, like the actual old version of Tom and Jerry, the animation is just fucking immaculate, let's be honest here. I think it won an Oscar, right? And honestly, I'm glad I grew up on those kind of shows. And oh yeah, there's also a lot of censorship, I think, on the new Powerpuff Girls compared to like the old one. The old one was like holy shit. They have certain topics that are just that goes popping hard. I remember a neighbor complaining about me and my friends pretending to play Power Rangers as being too violent. Yeah, I just don't understand. Because as a kid, I'm just like, bro, it's just a show, come on. Even I acknowledged that as a kid, so that's why I never consider it as violent, I guess. Maybe that's why. Because I always acknowledge it that, oh, it's a cartoon. Oh, it's a fucking show, come on. They got rid of Miss Bellum for the dumbest reason ever. Yeah. It's it reminds me of Minions. But even Minions has fucking dirty jokes hidden somewhere there, which kind of makes our brain melts a bit. But at the same time, for some reason, they are just much more worse than Minions, in my opinion. They made it possible to be much more worse. Oh yeah, I haven't seen the new Minions movies movie. And then again, Illumination movies aren't really the movies I would intentionally watching. I would only watch it if I have nothing else to do or have nothing else running on the TV. That's enough of the shadows. Let's go back bigger. Have I put a multiply layer already? Sure. But yeah, I think you can see how many multiply layers I have. Almost 5, I think. Okay, for the shadows, I typically just choose purple or violet. I don't want to pick blue because blue seems to look more muted for some reason. I prefer using purple or violet because it has some slight color, or you can see the color at least. But that's probably because using a way too dark color. Anyways, let's airbrush that. Go here. Found a random documentary about Barney that says that they were saving kids from being violent from watching Power Rangers. Boomers is all I have to say. Damn, what's with all the hate when it comes to Power Rangers? And why Power Rangers out of all the selection? Low dodge. I think I need something more yellow. At this point, I don't even know what fucking system I'm following when it comes to layers. Back then, I'm much more organized with my layers. Now, oh, and yeah, I also tried to limit the use of layers back then. But now, I slightly don't care anymore, so I can just go crazy on how many layers I can make. As long as my computer doesn't explode. Because it does take up a lot of RAM if you use a lot of layers. This is kind of like the stage where I just fucking add glitter. I find that hilarious because as a kid, I watched a ton of action movies with actual guns. But yeah, made up weapons isn't allowed. Dudes in colorful costumes is too much. It's too much for the kids. Also, as a kid, the games that we play are for adults. GTA San Andreas is probably the number one example for it. Game is not for kids, but it's it's part of our childhood. And the glorious memes. Also read somewhere that Tezuka was shocked to see American producers hold Astro Boy too violent when tried to introduce Astro Boy to America. it was it was why it wasn't allowed to be shown on TV. Jesus. Yeah, they just do not like shit that was coming out of overseas, I guess. And just considers everything as too violent. Oh, you're laying hands onto somebody? That's illegal. I need to erase this just a tad bit. I think the glow dodge sense, but at the same time, I cannot see shit. I cannot see if the colors are too intense, too saturated, and overall that whole thing, because I just cannot see anything. Because what I'm seeing right now is probably not equal to what you are seeing on your screen. Also, I'm just taking my time. Just take our time. There's nowhere to rush, to be honest. I mean, a part of me wants to rush because I want to play games and shit. But at the same time, I can't. At the same time, I can't play because my hand is in, and that's not very good. Cheers. Okay, I think all that is left to do are the shadows, but like a week break, or probably let's just take a chill time before we get into shadows, or you know, just the shadow part, not the shadows for the figures. Oh, there's already a shine there on here. I think the attitude is what made America have a narrow view of animation. Regular animation is for kids, and adult animation should be blood gore with Simpsons and Family Guy format. Yeah, it's just uh they basically do one thing, and one thing is so successful. They don't want to do other things. That's it. You made the best fan art for all of his 300 fans. What do you mean? It's a dog. Who wouldn't like a nice a nice art for a dog? Where, well, an alien doggo that is. I should add something here. Hold up. I was thinking of adding some spit or saliva here and there. Because originally I have it on the sketch, but I erased it. If you guys saw it. But yeah. We tried this. I think he, along with Stinkfly, Ripjaws is the least favorite. Oh yeah, there's like I guess a lot of aliens in Ben 10 that is, you know, not everyone's favorite or anyone cared about. It's really kind of like a niche peak. Niche alien. And other, you know, much prefer the popular one. But come on, it's a dog. Oh, that one was terrible. Oh, I didn't use a separate layer. That's fine, I guess. And again, a fan art of Ben 10 is often like forearms once again. Are like the popular ones. Or what you typically see for fan art. But I get it, it's iconic. But come on. I guess I also noticed myself that I tend to pick characters that tends to be underrated, I guess. Not sure why. I was also reluctant on streaming today because power outage or power disruptions and then internet turning on and off is quite common these days. It's probably because of repairs are still going on. But Jesus Christ. That's how slow the repair kind of goes here. I think other of my friends still doesn't have like internet until now. Oh yeah, I remember Wildmutt was also in Benton Ultimate Alien. I think he's one of the few that got Ultimate Evolution. Really? I really don't remember that much on Ultimate Alien anymore. Apart from I guess Cannonball, because dude just become a middle version of it. And I don't remember that much either of Ultimate Alien. Apart from the aliens, you know, getting an upgrade. I think Forearms has a lot of fan art because he is the easiest to draw. I mean, most, or I guess a lot of aliens, or the OG Benton alien, are much more easier to draw. I guess I can list the ones that are somewhat hard to draw. Accelerate, Ripjaws, definitely. Ghost Freak, maybe. Nah, Ghost Freak is easy to draw. I think the evil version of Ghost Freak is much more harder, that's for sure. I don't remember the name for it, but it's basically a much more edgier version of Ghost Freak. But the normal Ghost Freak is easy to draw. There's also this alien that multiplies. It's not Echo Echo, but it's basically an alien that just multiplies. Diamond Head is kind of hard to draw to some, I guess. But in all honesty, if you just get the shapes right, that's it. You just basically got you're able to draw Diamond Head, because Diamond Head is surprisingly covered a lot with clothing. Also the hard one to draw. I guess Heat Blast is hard to draw. Maybe, but the guy is really it's just red and yellow, and that's it. Wait, let me search. Benton aliens. Hopefully the original one that shows up. I guess upgrade is also hard, kind of hard to draw. But his shape is easy. I think Alien Force, the aliens on Alien Force, is much more a tad bit more complicated to draw, or their design is a tad bit more complicated. I mean, of course, there are some that are like so simple, but either way, it's still cool. Still cool to look at. But yeah, the designs basically got an upgrade for their season, except for the new ones, I guess. Evil Ghost Freak's name is literally just Ghost Freak. Really? I couldn't remember, but I do remember that it is the actual Ghost Freak, like the original Ghost Freak, and Ben's version is, you know, his version of Freak. But I still remember his design so clearly. The design goes really hard. Basically, it's a fucking edgier version of Ben. Anyways, where were we? Drawing forearms is literally just drawing a buff guy with forearms. That's true, though. Just color him red and that's good to go. Honestly, at this point, this illustration is already good enough. Good enough to consider it done. And all that's left to do is the shadows over here. But with all of this limited palette, there's really not that much to do or to go crazy here. I mean, you can go crazy with the colors, but I'm not that daring. I'm still not that daring or explorative too much on the coloring department. Forearms is just Goro from MK. Evil Ghost Freak's name is... What kind of spelling is that? Skyer? It was rebuilt in Omniverse. Really? Why didn't they go with his real name in the first place? That's true though. A lot of it is like an afterthought at that point. Because they also made a lot of changes when looking at, you know, when comparing the OG. Oh shit. Okay, hold on, let me just save this. Because it's kind of bugging out and lagging. But basically the OG Ben 10, you know, they have some sort of stories or aspects that they change on further seasons or newer seasons. Especially with Gwen. Gwen back then was like, yeah, she just fucking learned magic. That's it. But then in the newer seasons, the reason why she can do or have powers is because of their fucking grandma. Evil Ghost Freak was one of my favorite designs in Ben 10. Oh, the design goes really fucking hard. Like, if you compare the normal Ghost Freak to the evil Ghost Freak, like, goddamn, the difference. Is huge, humongous, and actually fucking creepy. Let's go. It's pronounced scare. Oh yeah, Ben 10 is kind of... They kind of go for puns when they come to... how to make this be somewhat darker. Let's make it light. Working. I think it's working. Basically, I want to mix two colors. Something yellow, I guess. Have some red on the side. Did you hear about how those kids that vandalized the Van Gogh painting is now vandalizing more paintings with tomato soup and mashed potatoes? I mean, they're activists. Are they called activists or protesters? Is there a difference? But basically, when it comes to those type of people, especially that is doing it, they're obviously wanting to grab attention. And of course, the way to go or the way to do it is to provoke something that is unprovoked. Like we all know Van Gogh and his paintings are, they're just chilling. They're just chilling. They're the most wholesome, somewhat tragic, and that's why we kind of find his paintings hurting. But yeah, for some reason, activists would always ruin the whole thing, as always. And I think they are protesting against oil thingy. Or oil, basically using oil. But they're wasting more food than they are preaching about wasting food. Jesus. But yeah, there are types of activists that I respect that, actually doing the fucking correct steps to do it. Or in a much more respectful manner. And there's those assholes that knows nothing about what they're fighting for and doing the complete opposite of what they're fighting for. As far as I know, activists fight for a certain thing, while protesters specifically want to overturn something that's already in place. Gotcha. They are protesting about oil and wasting food. Actually, I've read something about this situation. Apparently, they are a group. Yes, there are activists. And apparently that group is funded or made by a guy who is known for being in the oil industry. So, from what I understand, the guy is just basically cashing in. Or for something that people wants to fight for or advocate for. But in reality, they don't give a shit. And instead ends up doing the opposite of it. But I might be wrong though, feel free to correct me. Because I didn't read all too much about this situation. Because overall, it's such a waste of time. Let's be all honest here. Like at this point, we're just all screaming, why? Out of all the shit or the ways that you could have done it. They chose the most silliest way to, the most, you know, the way that we're obviously gonna hate them for. I heard about that, but I think that tomato soup girl is from a different group, and I think Charlie talked about it too. But yeah, I think that's what I've read. I've read about it. Basically, group of young people. I'm not sure if I guess young people advocating for a group, but apparently the group is like the number one, or is owned by a guy that actually stands against from what they are standing against for. And basically it's an overall hypocritical, ridiculous, and overall dumb move or dumb situation to just look into. And honestly, I would just recommend to you to either ignore the situation or just look at something else. I think we've had enough of unnecessary stress. At the moment. Actually, blue isn't so bad. Go with blue. I'm just gonna move this a bit because I'm seeing some tangents here and there. That's not very good. But yeah, I also heard that there are multiple groups. I think there's more situations similar to this that is going on. What kind of pisses me off is their attitude with art. It's just a painting, you can just restore it. Bruh, if the painting gets too damaged, it's beyond restoring. Yeah, there are professionals that restores art, for a living. Even to a certain extent. Yeah, it's kind of impossible to restore something. Van Gogh is overrated anyways, it's just a painting of bulls. Is what pisses me off the most. Let me guess, it's the normies. It's one of those comments that you expect from a normie. Or an uncultured swine that doesn't know shit of how art can impact something. Yep, the normies. The normies are at it again. I typically do not. I would rather not give a shit about their opinion because it's obvious that their opinion doesn't matter at this sort of subject. People would probably digress like, oh, so you don't care about the negativity or criticism. Got it. I mean, my guy, it doesn't take two brain cells to tell which one is equipped to talk about it, and the ones that obviously does not give a shit about it. They are probably the same normies that act like artists should quit because of AI art. Oh yeah, I'm betting my money on that one. They think they think art skills are some sort of gotcha, like gotcha game. Like pray to the RNG gods. It's either you art or don't, and that's it. But yeah, at this point, I guess I just sort of built a certain tolerance when it comes to this type of people. It's so obvious that they're unequipped and barely know anything to the topic that is being talked about. So basically their opinion doesn't even matter. But the way they act is annoying, that's for sure. Because the way they act is that they think their word is facts or some sort of fucking scripture. And they think that they are much more important. And honestly, at this point, it's kind of like Karen behavior, doesn't it? Protesters are basically this thing. We show our peaceful ways to force. Don't know where that quote came from. It made me laugh for a long time. I mean, yeah, if we basically look uh the at the goal of what activists are for, it's basically to get attention, obviously. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. You being provoked is all what they need. Or maybe I don't care about it too much because one, it's one of those topics that doesn't really uh isn't really that important here. Or maybe it's because of the thing about poverty gets you. A lot of things typically don't matter. Or ended up not looking that it matters anymore. After being deprived by someone. But that's why I don't care about it. I mean, yeah, I'm bummed out. Like, for fuck's sake, it's Van Gogh. The dude already had enough. Let's be honest here. The dude already had enough. Like, for fuck's sake, let him rest. But no. Even after his fucking grave, he still gets to deal with this sort of shit. Really can't decide on a color here. And honestly, any color can work at this point. Because, yeah, it's just fucking yellow. And then versus anything else. Which honestly can work with a lot of colors. Oh yeah, I think that's the thing. What I was upset about. Out of all the artists that they can choose to vandalize, why him? Like, let's be honest here. Why? Why Van Gogh out of all the people? Like, all of us know the dude has enough and has gone through way, way, way too much. Or somewhat way too much. Van Gogh is the most well-known artist to normies. Oh yeah, there. Oh yeah, wasn't the Mona Lisa also vandalized recently, or was it, or was it old news that I just happened to see it recently? I mean, it's probably not new anymore that the Mona Lisa got vandalized. I think it got vandalized probably back then. Or already back then. Not the Mona Lisa. Was it a different version? There's actually different versions of it, which surprised me. Yeah, I think it's the. Oh, this guy. Really? I think they're targeting impressionists. Am I the only one? Am I noticing a pattern? It's a bunch of impressionists. Van Gogh is an impressionist. Claude Monet is a impressionist. Bro, what do they got to why do they have beef with impressionist artists? I guess they won't target abstract artists, huh? Because they would just they would just be helping out the artists by then. Okay, let me actually blur this shit. Blurring things kind of helps, you know, give this sort of effect. This effect, or a much less artifact, I guess. Call it. That's why I don't like abstract art. You can literally just throw a tomato at the wall and call it art and sell it for $300 million. Man, it's weird. There are some abstract art that I like, I vouch for, and there's this section where I just fucking hate. And it's the section where everyone agrees to hate. And it's the abstract art where, you know, people just fucking splash the shit out of the canvas. And there's this other section of the abstract art where, you know, people actually fucking enjoy it, enjoy seeing, and appreciate it because of the techniques. Or it's much more, what do you call this? You know, actually looks pleasing. Hot take, I actually like computer generated abstract art because it uses actual math patterns to make it, so it tends to have really appealing ratios. But just pouring paint onto canvas, no thanks. Yeah, exactly. It's this section of abstract art where it's much more technical and basically much more pleasing to look at. And there's this section of the abstract art section where you just fuck all and pour paint to the fucking canvas. And it is the section where everyone hates. Because you can just do fucking anything on that section. But I do like the other section more. Especially, I guess an example that I can say as an example of like abstract art is probably those sorts of wavy line wallpapers. I even use it as a wallpaper. I couldn't remember the term for it, but there's also other things. I do also like the where it's just a bunch of geometric patterns. I like abstract art that basically uses graphic design principles to make cool stuff by just playing with contrast and balance. Yo, you're basically describing my my wallpapers. Cuz that's how it typically looks. It's abstract, but at the same time, it's just not, I wouldn't say it's just a bunch of fucking paint that is splattered. It's random looking, but at the same time, it's pleasing to look at. If that makes sense. And you know, the type of shit that I use. But if we're talking about abstract art that is just splattering paint, then yeah, that's not it for me. That's definitely not it for me. Make it more darker. I'm just adding dust, random as fucking dust, right now. Because, again, I like it. I like it to look more dirty and rugged instead of clean. And which is probably why you wouldn't see doing clean line art that much. The second mission. That's the only time I probably do a much more clean looking line art. Oh yeah, and this is probably the reason why I should study some sort of terminologies when it comes to art. When drawing it, I can draw it, I can uh painted or whatever. But if I have to describe that artwork, I will stutter for the rest of my life. Because I just do not know the terminologies of it. And probably why I don't do tutorials and all that stuff. Because deadass, if I just do a tutorial, a lot of it would probably just be visual cues. But if I am forced to use nothing but descriptive words, you will not see a lot from me. Because most of the words I'm just probably gonna use is that I do this shape and then you do this shape. And once that you have that shape, you just go to the next fucking shape. There was this VTuber that was caught using AI art and tried to say that he drew it. Wanna know how many people found out? The typical AI generated hands and the shadows and shading being off. Wasn't it the opposite? I think it was a VTuber who was streaming their process, and then someone, I guess, screenshotted or took a photo of it midway to the process and posted the artwork first, while, you know, using the fucking AI art to blend that shit out, and then posted first before the creator could finish their artwork. But this could be a different situation. I really don't follow the fiasco that is going on to AI art because most of it is just a fucking mess of a ride, and it's not good for me mentally. And it's basically what do you call this? It's peak Twitter moments. Yeah, that's a different situation. It's so similar though. But yeah. It's so easy. Am I the only one? It's so easy to tell which one is AI and which isn't. AI looks fucking blended as shit. Here's an example. Like figures and all that shit. It's kind of like they took the fucking Liquify tool and used it for fucking everything. And smeared it all of it. Even the colors can, you can also tell it from the colors. And basically, it's smooth as fuck. Everything, it looks fucking blurry as shit. Everything looks blended, basically. And of course, the hands. The hands. It's so obvious. Screenshotting this live right now. Bro, this is dead ass finished though. But yeah, this is finished. All I need to do now is like add the signature. And my what do you call it? That's my watermark. I think I can tell it by seeing the plastic look. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, same. But to me, everything just looks blended as shit. That's how I can tell. And I can tell it's not polished. Compared to like, especially if you're comparing it to the real one. And others are just straight up uh terrible. Terrible looking. I guess this is the perks of like knowing anatomy, I guess. Because AI art doesn't know how to. But anyways, this is basically done. We're just chilling now. Time for chill time, I guess. Let me just try to find my signature, I guess. I should really step up my game when it comes to organizing stuff. Oh, my autosave cake then. Wrong place, buddy. Can't wait to see people think that this wild mod is AI generated. They wish it could be this good, fam. Oh, I applied it. Fuck. Wasn't finished. Now for the dilemma of where to fucking place this. I mean, I'll probably just place it here because it's an empty space. Oh, hold up. Let me take a quick bathroom break. BRB. Hello, I'm back. Oh, I removed my glove. It would look cool if I put it here, but nah. I feel like there's too much empty space here. If I put it here. See? Rewatching it animation. Is it not? So the fan animation spoils the entire part 1 in 50 seconds. Am I the only one who still doesn't mind spoilers? I'm still gonna end up watching it despite all spoilers. I'm just that type of person. Built different. Although, yeah, I agree. Watching something blindly, or first time witnessing, is an overall nicer. Especially, especially the ones that has some sort of plot twist to it. That's where you definitely wanna avoid. What the heck? A fan made a Kobani dance game. Oh, you didn't know that? It's what's it called? A DDR game? Yeah, someone made it. And I think you can play other characters. I've only seen the video of it. I didn't play the game. I wasn't able to. Okay, let me just export this and see if the colors are looking right or not. Okay, question though. Do I have a distinct art style? A part of me feels like I've come to a certain point that I have some sort of certain look and feel. And basically a style. Sketchy line art. I guess really dark shadows is another aspect to it. But then again, I don't know how to put it. It's on Newgrounds. Oh yeah, it's over there. I mean, most fan-made stuff are there. But anyways, hold up. Let me just see this. Because I just exported. Let me just check if the colors are looking right or not. Because if it doesn't, I will need to do some readjustments. Which is annoying, and it's gonna be a back and forth sort of situation. Oh yeah, I need to adjust the saturation. Anyways, going back here, we'll be adjusting the saturation, because it's fucking blinding me, basically. It's blinding me right now. Or the yellows or orange are too intense. So I have to make another version. It looks terrible on my screen. Okay, this is much more better. That's for sure. No, I suck at it. I'm sorry, Cohen. It's kind of like a rhythm game, basically. So yeah, if you suck on rhythm games, you're fucking dead, bro. I guess I need to change the color for the shadows. I have to turn down the fucking saturation to a negative. That's how fucking bad it is. And also, I have to. Shadows look way too muddy. That's how bad it is when it comes to. That's how bad my fucking. Bad my fucking laptop screen is when it comes to showing colors. And it depends on what color it is. Have another one. This is my third export. Hopefully third time's the charm. And if I don't care about that much about the colors, I would just call this done. Period. And I'm just checking it on my phone. I'm using my phone as my basis. Because everyone has a phone. Okay, I'm gonna call this done. I've had enough. I've had enough. The difference is so small though, that's for sure. I don't think you would notice it. But I would. And that's the problem. Yeah, call it done. Music is so fucking loud. Well, that's the third time I exported it, and I'm just that done. Time for chill time. Hey, hours then. But music is fucking blazing for some reason. It's been 3 hours and 30 minutes. Oh, let me collapse the tabs so you guys have a better view of it. We can chill for like 5 minutes, I guess, or 10. But my back is aching for some reason. My arm feels okay-ish now. I don't feel the pain anymore. I guess my arm got finally used to it. But now it's my back. Great. Let me just fix my posture. Yeah. It's all done. Proceeds to export it like 3 or 4. I mean, that's just a caveat of like having a shitty fucking screen, shitty fucking monitor. Because the colors are like orange, yellowish, or whatever, right? But if I turn this off, to my screen, the colors look fine. It's the colors that I am intending to look like. But to your screen, it's probably a different case. And to your case, it probably looks much, much more saturated. And if I export this version to my phone, it's fucking saturated as hell. Like, your eyes can literally burn by looking at it. So I have to turn this on. Some of you would probably not notice the difference. But to those who does, basically the saturation is like toned down to a -10. And to my laptop screen, the screen where I'm drawing and where I'm working on, it looks gray as fuck. But if I export it to my phone, the colors look perfect. Or the actual colors that I'm intending to go for. So yeah, it's kind of tricky, and you just have to fucking adapt to it. Is it still too loud? Holy shit. Oh yeah, it's fucking blazing. Hold up, let me turn it down. How about this? Why is it fucking blazing all of a sudden? It wasn't this loud before. But yeah, I toned down the saturation now, so basically it's much more better now. But yeah, I guess that's also the nature of the color yellow anyways. Yellow and orange are just fucking, it's just so on your face basically. And would burn your fucking eyes. I just saw the news of Russia is in another drama. Isn't Russia graduated now? It's sad, but it's pretty understandable on the reason why it happened. What is she in for right now? That's so weird. Cause she already graduated, if I remember correctly. Russia didn't graduate, she got fired. That's basically kind of the same, bro. It's either fired or what's the other term? A much more gentler term for fired. Wait, it is? Yeah, it kind of is. Once they're graduated, they're also out of the company. What's the other term for fired? A much more gentler term for fired. Dismissed? Basically laid off. Any of those terms, basically. Or or just left. He just left. I thought graduating is them quitting or retiring. It's both. It's either getting fired, quitting, retiring. It's all of the above. Basically out of the company. Graduation. That's how I understand it on like uh the B-tubing community. Yeah, that's how it goes. But yeah, how is Russia getting a fucking getting a fucking issue? Like she's already terminated or graduated. Which is a shame. I actually liked the good old Russia screaming at your fucking ears. It's a shame, but if I remember the situation correctly, it's kind of her fault why. Yeah, it's basically her fault why she got laid off. I think Russia is in Vishojo now. Oh, well, that's makes sense. That would make sense. I never got into Bisojos that much. Got into Whole Life and uh Niji Sanji, but never Bisojo. I guess Bishojo was too much for me. People would point it out like what do you call this? Like, you know, the fans can tell who they are. Like, obviously they sound familiar, but of course they're not gonna. They can pretend not to know, basically. You got into an argument with another former whole life person. I don't know who she is. It got so bad that it involved lawyers. Really? Oh yeah, from what I remember, you can get blacklisted on the VTubing community. Hold on, let me search. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Actually, I cannot see shit. Was there anyone that got blacklisted? I mean, Rusha is an example. But since Rusha is like a moneymaker, not not far-fetched why they took her. Also, I never read drama, I guess. Especially when it comes to VTubers. I typically don't follow them. He's 32. Bro, it's not that surprising anymore. Or maybe people just fucking hate B Sojo. Who knows? And for some reason, the antis and hating on the VTubing space is fucking insane for some reason. Like, if a VTuber breathes, that's already enough for them to hate on or to talk shit on and cause drama. It's actually it's so ridiculous. Maybe that's why I don't get into the VTuber drama issues or whatever that sort of thing is because of that. It's usually blown out of proportion. VTuber Breeze anti. Oh my god, he's in the N word counts. Yeah, the anti group when it comes to VTubing is insane for some reason. I mean, people will probably say it kind of goes for everyone, but for some reason, what I've seen on the VTubing community is far more insane for some reason. Like dead ass is just The most minuscule fucking mistake. Or barely even a mistake at all. Just happens to be blown out of proportion. But anyways, it's almost 4 hours. I guess I have to end the stream there, guys. Here's our illustration that we got finished today. And hopefully you guys enjoy chilling with me today. I hope to see you guys next time. But that's all for it. I've said today so much. Thanks for hanging out and hope to see you guys next time. Maybe it came from Idol Obsession? Oh yeah. Probably. Idols also have like the most craziest anti or hating community ever. Period. Especially in South Korea. It's insane. But anyways, that's enough chit chat. Hopefully we can chat more on next stream. But that's all for today. And that's bye bye for now. Thanks again guys for watching and joining with me. Hope you guys have a great day, great eve, great night, and all that good stuff. And laters.